Tonight we're working on integer word problems. This is the activity sheet that we were working on in class. And since your homework assignment, in addition to completing this sheet, was to do problems from the textbook, and I don't want to replicate any of the textbook material because of copyright issues, we'll be reviewing two problems from this worksheet. Problem number 1 says, a city in Greenland has a temperature of negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit on a particular day. On that same day, a city in Iceland has a temperature of 13 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the difference and temperature? As we talked about in class, difference does generally tell us to use a subtraction function. So here we're going to set up this problem by first identifying our greatest temperature, which is 13 degrees Fahrenheit, because that would be much warmer than negative 18 degrees. So 13 degrees Fahrenheit minus the temperature in Greenland was negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit. So now we simply solve. Anytime we have a minus and negative, we know we're going to change that sign to positive. And so now we have 13 plus 18 equals 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Now 31 degrees Fahrenheit isn't the temperature, but rather the temperature change between 13 and negative 18. If we looked at this on a number line, it would give us a similar result. For instance, here is our number line, and I'm not going to draw this to scale, but just to give you a reference, there is 0, there is negative 18, the temperature in Greenland, and there is 13 degrees, the temperature in Iceland. And so if we looked at the temperature starting from our temperature in Greenland, it had to rise 18 degrees to get to 0. So our absolute value of that term is 18. And then it had to rise another 13 degrees to get to 13. So the absolute value of 13 is now 13. And so the overall change from negative 18 to 0 was 18, and from 0 to 13 was 13. And the combined change, 18 plus 13, again is 31 degrees Fahrenheit. So using some of those strategies we learned over the last week and a half, we can not only solve this using a numerical expression, but we can also solve this using a strategy such as the number line. We're going to look at one more problem, problem number 3. In this problem, we're talking about stocks, and Adet has invested in stock for the Atlanta Braves. On Monday, his stock loses 26 points. On Tuesday, his stock loses 10 points. On Wednesday, his stock gains 30 points. On Thursday, his stock gains 15 points. On Friday, it loses 8 points. At the end of the work week, by how many points has Adet stock grown? Now, this type of problem seems like a prime example of when it would be valuable to use a T-chart. And we talked about that a little bit in our warm-up example that we did in class. And so for this example, I'm going to have negative values and I'm going to have positive values, and I'll simply walk through the problem identifying whether or not a number or an integer is positive or negative. So on Monday, his stock loses 26 points. Loses is a negative term, so I will have negative 26 in my negative column. On Tuesday, his stock loses 10 points. So again, I've gone down in value, so it loses 10. On Wednesday, his stock gains 30. Gains is generally indicated with a positive term, so we'll have positive 30. On Thursday, his stock gains, again, 15 points, another positive value. On Friday, it loses 8 points, another negative value. From here, we can simply clean up our chart by adding the numbers in the same column. So 26 plus 10 plus 8 is 44, and that was our negative column. So that will have a negative value. And then 30 plus 15 is 45. That was our positive column. So at the end of the work week, by how many points has the stock grown? Well, now we know we'd have to find the difference between what it has shrunk versus what it has gained. And in this instance, we have negative 45 plus 45 equals 1. Our larger absolute value number is 45, so we'll keep that sign. So our gain is a positive 1 gain. Hopefully these two examples have helped refresh your memory on how to solve integer word problems, and you will find yourself successful in completing the remainder of the problems. Thanks.